Hi, AP parents and students. It's Denise Dalton. I'm the Student Services Chair. This presentation is going to be given at 7 p.m. this evening, but I am totally fearful that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to Google Meets. So if you go to AP Test and it doesn't work, I am going to send this out probably about 7:05. So that way you'll have just a 5-minute delay on the information that other students and parents are getting. So, the purpose of this meeting is to talk about where we are with the AP program for the spring testing cycle of 2021. Obviously, things are going to be a little different this year than in years past, but they are hoping the College Board, I should say, the College Board is hoping that they are creating a better environment this year than they did in 2020 when they were trying to figure it out on the fly. Last year, if you had students take the AP exams, you might remember that the students took the test at home, no other option. They had to take it at home on their device. It could be their smartphone, it could be their Chromebook, it could be their desktop computer, it could be a handwritten exam that they took a photo of and uploaded to the College Board site. They were trying everything to make last year work. This year, they've tried to streamline things and to try and put things together so that way there's a more consistent exam that's given to students depending on what they need. So, to that end, for this year, the College Board has decided that AP exams will be given during three administration cycles. The first one is the first 2 weeks of May, which is comparable to what AP exams had been in 2019 and earlier. The second administration cycle is the second 2 weeks of May. That's a combination of paper and pencil testing and digital testing. And then the third cycle is in June, and that's really almost all digital, and it's for students who have issues with cycle 1 or cycle 2. Schools were encouraged not to select cycle 3 as their primary test cycle because really that's designed for kids that have problems or have illness or have extenuating circumstances. So, when we go through this presentation tonight, I'm going to talk a lot about cycle 1 and cycle 2. Please know that cycle 3 does exist, but it is really for students who aren't able to complete testing during cycles 1 and 2. As in the past, all LHS students are expected to take the exam. That's always been our commitment to our students, that if they take the AP course, we want them to take the AP exam. So that way we can evaluate how our program's doing, and then students can get the credit that they've earned. So what's different this year as last year is that if a student chooses not to test, if they sign, if they decide that if they say that they want to take test administration number 1, they don't feel they're ready, maybe they think about taking test exam cycle number 3, and that doesn't work out, we can give a refund for test fees. So that test fee refund will not come until after July 1, because what we'll do is we'll take our invoice from College Board, compare it against our students who signed up for testing, and then we'll issue those refunds. So although students are expected to take the exam, we understand that circumstances exist, and we will provide full refunds for students who choose not to take the exam. So, like I said, test administration cycle number 1 is our traditional AP exam 2 week window. It's going to be paper and pencil, and it's going to be given at the school by our staff. So students will go into a classroom. They'll be socially distanced. They'll wear masks, but they're going to be handed a paper and pencil test. They're going to fill out a Scantron, and they're going to do the traditional testing that we're all used to. Cycle number 2 is mostly digital, but there are some paper and pencil exams that can be given during cycle 2. Cycle 3, again, is all digital except for Spanish and music theory. We'll talk about that in a bit. The digital exams will be taken by students at their home. We are not equipped to provide power and secure internet for students in those large group settings. So obviously we can do the internet thing because we have our kids online all day long. However, we can't necessarily secure that every student who brings their Chromebook to school can plug in for that 3-hour stretch. So if a student wants to take the digital exam, that will be needed to be taken at home. So if students lack consistent internet at home, we can we can make accommodations and have students test here at LHS. But really, what we're going to do is paper and pencil testing here at LHS, digital testing at home for most circumstances. So, I want to just talk a few minutes about the pros and cons to paper and pencil testing. This is going to be done in person. This is what we experienced as students when those of us who are parents were in school. Kids are going to be in rows. They're going to be 6 feet apart. They're going to be seated with extra scratch paper. They're gonna do the traditional testing. It's going to be a Scantron test. It's going to be written out FRQs or essays or short answers and things like that. And it's going to be what I if a student took an AP class in 2019 or earlier, it's what they've always prepared for. So it's that traditional format. I know that some of our teachers have practiced handwriting. I mean, let's face it, for the past year, our kids have not done a whole lot of physical handwriting. So I know some teachers have practiced that with their kids, and that'll be good. So, but the most important pro of doing a paper and pencil test is that students can go back and check their answers. With the digital format, when a student answers question one, they go on to question two, they go on to question three, they go on to question four. If question five clicks something in their head and they go, oh my gosh, question number two, I should have put this other answer, they can't go back. So for me as a test taker, I think I would have benefited more from a paper and pencil test because I would have benefited from being able to go back and forth. So, paper and pencil testing, like I said, they can go back and check their answers. They can go answer the questions in any order. So if they've been taught to go through and do the easy questions first and then go back and do the hard questions, they can do that on a paper pencil test. However, we know that our students have not filled in a Scantron in a year and a half. So even that simple, what might seem simple as going answer number one is B and fill in B circle on number one, and answer number two is D, fill in D circle on number two. Even though that might seem kind of rote to parents and to teachers, to students that might be a challenge. So another con to the paper and pencil testing is that we as a school are going to need a lot of space and a lot of proctors to provide a safe and secure environment. That is not anything for you to worry about. That's for us to worry about. So we will administer a paper and pencil test to as many students as want it. So I have that down as a con, but really it's not a con for the student because it's whatever is going to work best for them. In terms of digital testing, some of the pros are that students are very familiar with online testing. They've been doing this for a year. They get to test on their couch. They get to have a bag of Cheetos in front of them. They get to go and get a water break if they need it. They can be in their comfortable, safe space. So that part I totally understand. For digital testing, it's going to be one cycle later than the paper and pencil testing. So they're going to have extra time to get ready. And that's awesome. The, the cons to digital testing at home is that we can't necessarily guarantee that the Wi-Fi is going to be consistent. Comcast has outages, funky things happen. With the College Board system this year, if a student's internet goes out, they can log back into their test. Last year, there was an issue that if a student was logged out, they couldn't re-access their test, and that was terrible. This year, College Board has figured out a way that students can log back in. However, they're not going to get additional time. So if the internet goes out for 5 minutes, it will be short 5 minutes of testing. If it goes out for 15 minutes, they're short 15 minutes. If it goes out for 20 seconds, no problem, not a big deal. But that is an issue that students should consider. Students have to answer questions in order and cannot go back to check their work. This to me, as a student and as a teacher and as a parent, this to me is huge. But I know that some students might prefer to do the digital testing. One other aspect of the digital testing that is important is that students need to log into their Chromebook 1 to 3 days ahead to the College Board site to access the system and set up their Chromebooks. It's something that's just an extra step that students have to do, and students are required to log into the test site 30 minutes before their testing begins. So with the digital testing, testing begins at either 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. They must be logged into the site by 10:30 or 2:30, or they will not be able to test. That would make me nervous. But that's just me. So, and the last thing that I have on the screen is that neither a pro nor a con, but all digital exam questions will be application level or higher. So, what College Board explained was that if it's something that a student can look up in their notes real quick, if it's something that they could Google on their phone while they have their Chromebook open, that's not going to be the kind of question. It's going to be applying the knowledge that the College Board expects you to have in order to answer those questions. So if a student thinks, oh, I'm just going to take it at home because it's going to be easier, I don't really think that's going to be the case because the questions are going to be written to a level that's going to be different than just, what was the first site of the Battle of the Revolutionary War or something like that. It's going to be a much more complex question. So that's neither a pro nor a con. It just is what it is. So, like I mentioned, the digital testing is going to begin promptly at 11 and at 3. So students need to be logged into the site at either 10:30 a.m. or 2:30 p.m. They did that so that way around the world, testing is going to start at the same time. So they don't want a kid from England to be able to pass on answers to a student who's living in California. So it's a simultaneous worldwide exam start time in order to prevent cheating. The AP Digital Exam app needs to be installed on the student's Chromebook or whatever device that they plan to use sometime after April 8th, and we'll send information to students who make that selection. Students are encouraged to do digital practice, and even students who are planning on taking the paper and pencil test, we do encourage them to download the digital exam app and to do some practice, because even a student might plan to do the paper and pencil testing on May 3rd or May 4th. Something might come up and they might be required to do that digital testing down the road, and we want students to be prepared. So students have to download the app. They need to complete the digital exam setup 1 to 3 days before their exam. And again, they have to log in to their exam 30 minutes before it begins. So there we go. College Board is committed to test security, so they are using a variety of anti-cheating measures. I mentioned that they're doing a simultaneous start, so that way students from London can't cheat off, or students from San Diego can't cheat off of a student from London. They are This part I don't quite understand because I'm not a technology person, but they are somehow able to tell if a student's the pace of how they test is not consistent throughout the exam. So if a student logs in and starts typing an answer, but when they type their later answers, if the pacing of the keystrokes is different, somehow they're going to know that. I can't even imagine what that type of algorithm is for a computer. But College Board is committed to trying to promote test security. They are going to use something like turnitin.com. So if a student turns in an essay, a short answer, or an FRQ that is similar to that of another student, they're going to get flagged. They have all sorts of different anti-cheating measures. So if a student believes that taking the test at home is going to mean it's cheatable, College Board is saying no. So that is that little point. As I mentioned earlier, if the internet drops, students do not get extra time on the exam, but they are able to log back in. So that's a change from last year, in case your son, daughter had that issue last year. Students are required to use the same device for all AP exams. So if they're going to use their Chromebook, they need to use their Chromebook for all of the exams. If they're going to use their home computer, it needs to be the home computer for all exams. Students are not able to use their smartphone as they were last year. So personally, if it's my child, my boys have their own lap, or I don't even know what they're called. They've got their own. It's not their school issued Chromebook. They've got another kind of a Chromebook thing that they use. I would probably have them use that because it's what they're most comfortable with. But obviously, we provide Chromebooks for our students, so that is absolutely ready to go for students if they want to use their exam. Okay, these next few slides are a summary of the different exam weeks, and there's 6 weeks of AP testing using this cycle. So week 1 is May 3rd through the 7th. This is going to be a paper and pencil exam for government, human geo, English lit, US history, and Spanish literature. So if your child is enrolled in either of those, that would be the first week of May. Second week of May, also paper and pencil. We've got world history and macro on Monday, psychology on Tuesday, English language in the morning on Wednesday, and then micro econ and music theory in the afternoon on Wednesday. Music theory is one of the few tests that must be taken paper and pencil. So if a student wants to take music theory on May 12th, they can do that and take their micro econ test later in the month if they wish to take both exams. So we'll work that out if there's a schedule conflict between micro and music theory. There are no tests on Thursday, and then Friday we've got bio and environmental science. Week 3, this is where things start to mix into the paper and pencil and the digital option. Monday is computer science principles, which will be paper and pencil. Tuesday would be an English lit exam for students who want to take it digitally. Same thing Wednesday, US history and macro. Those would both be digital exams taken at home. On Thursday, government and world history are digital exams. And Thursday afternoon is psychology in the afternoon. Um, Two-dimensional art and computer science portfolios are due on Thursday, but that does not require an actual exam. So that's just in there as a note. And then Friday, we've got the Spanish language exam, which is taken paper and pencil here at the high school. And then Spanish lit would be in the afternoon. So it's another opportunity for that Spanish exam. Week 4, again, it's a mix of paper and pencil and digital. We've got calc on Monday, chemistry, and then statistics or physics in the afternoon. If a student's enrolled in both courses, we'll look at exam schedule 3 for students to take either the physics 2 or the statistics exam. But either way, um, first one would be taken paper and pencil here at the high school. Second one would be taken digitally at home. On Wednesday, digitally, we've got English language in the morning, computer science principal in the afternoon. On Thursday of that week, and this is the last day of school, we've got bio in the morning, environmental and science in the afternoon, and then Friday would be human geo in the morning and microecon in the afternoon. Now that microecon test will start at 3 p.m. If you have a graduating senior, we're hoping that's graduation night. So we would want those seniors that are taking the microecon exam to take that paper and pencil test 2 weeks sooner, so that way they'll be free on graduation night. So just a thought for that. The following week, this is all digital, and this is really for makeup or emergency testing. And so the schedule's on there. I'm not going to read through it for the first week or the second week, but really, um, if you think about it, the first 2 weeks is paper pencil, second 2 weeks is a mix, third 2 weeks will be digital done at home, except for music theory and Spanish. Those tests must be taken at the high school because there's a recording portion of it. So if your child is signed up for either music theory or Spanish language, please know that they will need to come to the building at some point to take the exam. So other than that, there is a choice for each course. What I would suggest your son or daughter do is to talk to their AP teacher about which one they recommend. I know that our teachers have a great deal of experience with AP testing. They have a great deal of experience now with the paper pencil testing and the digital testing. So I think they might be able to be the best resources as far as what your child is suggested to do. And it might be different for each subject area. What Mr. Suslick might suggest in AP Calc BC will probably be different than what Mr. Wostrowski suggests for AP Human Geography. So really, it can be a mix and match. Students do not have to pick all digital or all paper and pencil. We are looking to provide the best environment for your son or daughter as they take these exams. So talk to those AP teachers, see what they recommend. And those AP teachers will ask the students to complete a Google form before March 24th to indicate which date and which format they want to take for each exam. Those Google forms are ready to go. Teachers may have already pushed those out to the students. If not, they'll push them out tonight or tomorrow. And then on March 24th, I will take the last answer that a student submitted, and we're going to build our testing schedule around those choices. So sometime between March 24th and April 1st, we're going to place that test order. And if a student has selected the paper and pencil, they're locked in. We're going to order a paper and pencil test. If they've selected digital, we're going to lock that in and we're going to order a digital exam for those students. So we're going to need some time to shake this out. So students will know where they are testing and when they are testing and how they are testing before May 1st. I can tell you, since I'm the one doing it, it'll be long before May 1st, but May 1st will be our deadline that we will tell students exactly where and when to be. So, as a parent, if you want to find more information, sit down with your student and go to the students myap.collegeboard.org website and look at the information that's available. There's practice test questions. There's all sorts of supplemental information that can help you help your child make that decision on when and where they want to test. So I know it's a hard decision. I have a senior student that's taking 4 AP exams this spring. He's advocating to only take 3 exams, but we're in discussions on those types of things. So I understand where you are. Personally, I feel like $95 for an exam, yes, that's expensive, but if it means that that could get them out of a college course, it's to me it's worth the financial risk of them not scoring high enough to get the college credit versus having to pay for that college credit down the line. Sorry. So I am not just because I work for Lamont High School, but as a parent, I do advocate for students to take the test. They've been in the classes, they've been preparing for the exams. Take it, roll the dice, see what happens. Hopefully, you can get some college credit. If there are questions, please feel free to email me at ddalton@lhs210.net. If it's content related about the course, certainly contact the teachers. But if it's about test administration, I am your girl and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. So I look forward to talking to you about these things. I'm excited to see how things are going to turn out. Last year, we only had just a handful of problems with our students. Most of those were technology related, and College Board has assured us that those tech glitches will probably not be an issue this year. So please reach out with any questions. And I hope that all of our kids do great on these AP exams and score enough to get college credit and save us some money because that's what it's all about. Thank you so much. Have a great night.